how I married a complete stranger after 2 weeks of meeting him. First, let me set the stage. This was 15 years ago, April. I was a single mom of 3 children. I had been for years. I was in the church, and I was at a point in my life, because I had been through some tragic relationships and things, that I decided, you know what, I'm going to put God first. I'm going to raise my children. I'm going to stay single, and I don't want to date. I don't want to get involved in any of that. I just want to put him first. So I did. I dedicated everything that I did at that point in my life with my 3 young children to God. My children's ages were 7, 13, and maybe 15, 16 at the time. So I had made that commitment, and I'd just been back into my old church working at the youth girls, the ministry. I had decided to just put all worldly stuff aside and dating and whatnot, and just full force into God. So there I was. My children happened to be gone one weekend and with their father. It was his visitation weekend. And I don't know, maybe I was bored, but I saw Free Communication Weekend for eHarmony commercial come up. And I had an old account, not a paid account. I just had an old, profile on eHarmony. And I had not been on there in, 2 years, 3 years. Something about this commercial was like, just get on there. What's it going to hurt? You don't have to pay. It's free. Just see who's on there. I open it up, and I get Dan in Spokane. Now, mind you, this guy's much older than me at the time. He was 14 years older than me. And I mean, my first glance, I'm like, nah, that wasn't God. So I shut it. I was like, okay, I need to be obedient. Just stick with my goal of just staying away from dating and just move forward. So I shut it and moved on. Because I had opened up it sent a message over to this person, this Dan in Spokane. So he reached out to me, and here I get this email. Oh my gosh, that person that I opened up to has now responded to me, and oh, I don't want to date. I mean, so you know what? I'm very forward. Obviously, you see my post. I speak my mind. I say what's on my heart. So I was upfront with him. Hey, sorry, I'm not a paid member, but I'm not dating right now. But I wish you the best, and God bless, and blah blah. I kept it short and sweet. That didn't get rid of this person. He emailed again and said, well, look, I see that you're a Christian. I'm a new believer. Can we at least meet up for dinner and I can share my testimony with you? And I thought, what's it going to hurt? A free dinner and listen to somebody's testimony. It's a Christian. I love testimonies, so sure, why not? What's it going to hurt, right? I said, okay, well, let's meet downtown at a public restaurant, and sure, you can give me your testimony. But I was very upfront again, and I said, but just so you know, I'm not looking for any relationship. I'll meet you as a Christian friend and hear your testimony, but I want to be very clear. So I laid that out once again. I show up to Olive Garden downtown Spokane. It's not there anymore, but this is where we were. From looks, I was like, no, he doesn't fit somebody that I date. Not for me. So obviously this isn't going to go anywhere romantically. I knew that. I was like my confirmation. But I'm going to be nice. I'm going to listen to this guy's testimony and have a meal. So guy sits down, and for almost, I want to say over an hour, probably an hour and a half, he tells me about how 6 months prior, he was delivered from thousands of demons came out of his body, and how he had been a drug addict, alcoholic for 30 something plus odd years of his life. And how now he was a Christian, born again, and had been 6 months, no cigarettes, no drugs, no alcohol, nothing. Just God had completely restored his life. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And being the believer that I am, and knowing the power of God, I totally believed it. I was like, wow, that's awesome that you experienced something like this. Most people will never experience being delivered from demons, right? And what a transformation. But boy, you got some baggage, and I got to stay clear away from anybody that has this much baggage because I got problems of my own, and I got children to raise, and I'd already been through just hell with my dating life after my divorce. So I didn't want to touch that. So I just encouraged him. I was like, wow, just take it slow and continue to go to your church, and I wish you the best. And we said goodbyes, and I left. So he walked out. I drove home, and as I'm driving home, I get a text message from him. And it was something along the lines of, so what did you think? What did you think of me? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, what part of you? I'm not interested in dating. Do you not understand? And so I actually ignored that text message because I thought, I'm going to give this guy the wrong impression and I should just ignore him. And then God was like, no, you don't want to do that, because what if I just kind of felt this thing like I was going to hurt him spiritually or something if I like bruised him or whatever. So I just said, hey, I was upfront. Again, I'm not interested in dating. I don't think that there was a connection or anything, but wow, your testimony was powerful, and I do wish you all the best and blessings. I want to say a couple days went by, and I don't know if he had texted me and I was ignoring him. I think he had texted me again. This is 15 years ago, okay? 15 years ago. So my memory's a little jagged on this, but that he had texted me again, and I did ignore it. I felt like I needed to just drop it at that point. He had wanted to get together again, and I said, well, I'm taking the youth to this rock and worship roadshow concert. You should probably go to that. I mean, I can't go with you, but it's free to everybody, so you should go. I just encouraged him to go to this worship service thing downtown in the arena in Spokane. Well, I guess he went, and I don't know if he was like creeping out on me or what, or watching, but he had sent me a text saying that he had saw me. And I remember feeling a little weird about that, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad you went, and just kind of left it at that. Again, ignoring. I think he texted me a couple more times, and this is within like the first 5-6 days, okay, of first meeting him. And I still ignored him, but he asked me again, hey, can we meet for lunch again? And I was still, hey, I'm not dating anybody, but sure. I'm thinking, okay, I'll leave from work and I'll go meet you for lunch. It's not gonna hurt anything. Well, let me rewind. Before meeting him for lunch, that night or day before, the Holy Spirit woke me up at night and told me, you're going to marry that man. And I was like, no, I'm not. I most certainly am not. It was so real. It's like I wanted to put myself under the covers and hide from God. Like you can hide from God. But it was like that. Like I could feel like that was real. And I'm like, no. It's gross. Yuck. So I just kind of ignored it. Well, then he invites me to lunch, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So I'm just going along with it at this point. I'm like, whatever. It's not going to hurt anything. Meet in public. I meet him again, but I remember driving there thinking, okay, God, if that's you, and I didn't say this out loud because I didn't want the devil to hear me. I didn't, he can't read your thoughts. So I was like, okay, then, and I don't know, but God's probably laughing at me. If I want him to say this or do this or what, just these movements or things, and I need to know that was from you, right? I know this is super weird, but this is how it went down. Okay, can't make this up. So there I am sitting across from this guy, and he's still talking to me. He's telling me about his older kids. He's got kids that are like 9 years younger than me, 10 years younger than me. And I'm like, okay. Well, as he's talking to me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, that kid that he's talking about, if that was really you that told me that, Lord, that this is the person that I'm going to marry, then let that son call him right now. Ring. And before I'd even say now in my head, ring. And he'd go, oh, excuse me. Oh, it's my son, Jeremy, or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's creepy. That's a coincidence, whatever. So then I keep doing it. Guys, I do this probably 20, 30 times. Like he's going to touch his finger onto the fork, or he's going to pick up this, or he's going to get up to go to the bathroom, and boom, 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 boom. The guy would do all these things. I know God was just up there going, okay, Nadine, what now? What do you want me to do now so you get this? And so I was just like, okay, this is weird. Well, at this point, I'm like, I just want out of this lunch. I'm ready to go. Like, I can't have this lunch anymore. I gotta go. I'm creeped out. I ignore him again for a few more days. Just completely ignore him. I go and see him. I think it was Mother's Day. Oh, I went and saw him on Mother's Day because God had woke me up the night before on that Saturday. That would have been the 7th or 8th. It was like Friday or Saturday. 3 days before. Okay, anyway, 3 days before this all happened. We got married the day after Mother's Day. God wakes me up in the middle of the night and says, Nadine, you're going to marry that man. It was so real. I was sick to my stomach. I was like, this is really going to happen. And I don't even know this person. I'm not even attracted to them. There's nothing about this human that I want to be married to. Like, how is that even going to work? What do you mean? And so I was just like, I was trying to drown out my mind, whatever I could do he would not let me sleep. I went to work the next day. He's still telling me this. And I think Dan is texting me too, and I'm ignoring. I'm like, I'm not doing this. No way. And so I just kept ignoring him. But I want to say he sent me flowers to my work. It's been so long ago. I'd have to confirm with him. Maybe he remembers. I don't know. I think he sent me flowers, and I was like, oh, that was really nice. But no, I mean, this is just, I can't do this. That night, I go home, try to go to bed, up all night. God's got me completely up. My mind is completely swirling around. This is the man you're going to marry, Nadine. You're going to marry. And I'm trying to drown it out with thoughts and everything else. No, I'm not. Mother's Day, I show up at his work. Now I gotta feel this guy out and say, okay, this is the person that God wants me to marry. Then he obviously, like, you got to do something. I need to have something, some kind of connection, some kind of something. God, give me something. So there I am. And it was like, he just completely ignored me. I mean, he was rude. It was so gross. I was like, oh, okay, there's my answer. Not the guy. So I leave and I sent him a text. I said, look, I'm sorry, but we got to cut this off. You are in no way, shape, or form for me. And I know that for sure. So please just stop contacting me. I do wish you the best. I tried to be as nice as possible, but I was very firm. At this point, I'm like, no, don't pursue me any longer. Yuck. And then that night I am up all night again. Mind you, it's been, the timeline, I'm probably wrong, but I know it's 3 days. Okay. 3 full days. I did not get any sleep. And God was telling me I'm going to marry this guy. It was the next morning. No, I was at work. I was finally at work and my mind was so messed up. I was so deprived of sleep. You know, I'm 36 years old. I have 3 kids at home. I'm tired. I want to work, but I can't. And I'm like, God, if that was you, what in the world? And the next thing you know, my phone beeps. It's Dan. And he says, will you marry me, on a text message? What? Something about that was so absolutely just insane to me, because I'm like, I have not said nothing to this person about what God is doing to me, because it is so weird and so I haven't told nobody. It's just me and God going through this whole battle for 3 days, right? And then I get this text message and I'm like, okay. I told my boss, hey, I'm gonna be back. I'm taking an early lunch. I'm like, what's your address? Because I don't even know where the guy lives, right? What's your address? I show up at his house. Now, mind you, I'm seeing the house for the first time. And I'm like, ew, this place is disgust. Gross. What is going on right now? Knock, 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 What is this text message? This is what I say to him. What is this? And you can tell he's very he's just as freaked out as I am at this point, right? So I come into his house and this is where I feel like this, I call it like this cloud of peace came over me and nothing mattered. Like God was just carrying me through. I know it sounds really weird, but this is my story, okay? This is how it happened. So I'm sitting down in this disgusting hellhole, crap hole of a house. I remember seeing the dishes and the sink piled high and just stinks and the whole place is, but I don't care. I'm like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? Somehow we're on the couch, we're talking, and he tells me that God told him to marry me. And from here on out, I don't even know how this happened so quickly. Guys, we were married this day, okay? This is 1:30, 2 o'clock, we're talking. And then it's close to 3, and this is where he tells me he doesn't have a driver's license and he can't drive. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Let's just go in my car. Well, we're going to go get married. This is what we decided. Okay, well, I guess if we're supposed to get married, let's just go get married. Now, mind you, nobody knows this guy. I barely know this guy. My kids are with their dad. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm in this little cloud thing. Fine, I'm supposed to marry you. So we get in my car because, he just told me that he doesn't have a driver's license or anything. I'm like, oh, whatever. So we get in my car and we drive to the Valley Mall, which is about 20 minutes away from where he was living. And we go in there and we're going to get rings. And he's like, I got to tell you, I don't have any credit. So I can't get, these expensive rings or anything. And I was like, oh, it's okay. We ended up just getting these little cheesy rings. I don't know. It was just dumb, but we didn't care. I didn't care. He didn't care. I didn't care that he didn't have a driver's license. I didn't care that he didn't have any credit. He had no money. He had nothing, right? He had nothing, but it's okay. It's like, whatever, but this is what God's got me in this little cloud of, he's just carrying me through. Okay. I'm just going with the flow. So we get back in my car and I do remember that we were prayed to be like, God, if this is not you, then put up roadblocks. Stop us from doing this right now. And we just kept driving. So we drove from the Spokane Valley to Coeur d'Alene to go to the courthouse. We get to the courthouse around this time. It's almost 5 o'clock because we had dinked around at the mall trying to do credit stuff and, get rings. And I don't know how long we were there, but it was long enough to where we were cutting it close to the courthouse and Coeur d'Alene being closed down. So we get there, and I'm like, where are we going to park? This place is packed. And there was a security guy right there. And so he said, hey, we got to park. We got to go in before it closes. You know, is there somewhere else we can park that's close to get in? And he turns and he goes, well, Judge so-and-so just left. Park your car there. I'll watch it for you. Okay. So we did that. And sure enough, homeboy was behind my car like this, watching my car. And I remember thinking, that's weird. But we go in. Walk right into the office, and we don't even sit down. It's like, next. We just go up. Next thing you know, we're throwing down our IDs, signing a paper. This guy's a stranger. I'm just doing this, right? Just doing it. Okay. And now we got to go across over a couple blocks away to the hitching post. Okay, this is the plan. We're, Valley Mall, courthouse, hitching post, done deal. I'm thinking in my mind, God, I'm not getting married by a cheesy pastor. Please don't let this guy at the hitching post be this cheesy dude, because then I know it's not going to be you, right? I just know it. This is what I'm saying in my mind. So we get there, his pastor opens up the door and he goes, hey, come on in. He sits us down, opens up the Bible to the book of Ephesians, starts talking about the husband's role and the wife's role. And I just have this peace just over me. I'm like, okay, all right, not a cheesy pastor. This is good. This is good. All right. Okay, from here, I don't remember going from his office to their sanctuary and doing vows, but I did. We did vows. Next thing I know, we walk out of this place. We're going back to my car because remember, he doesn't have a driver's license, or, he can't drive. So we get into my car, and we both explain it the same way, because he says in his testimony also that he felt like he was just being carried through. Now, mind you, he had not been married for 25 years. He was like known as the guy that would never get married again, okay? So here he had been in a cloud-like feeling thing also with me. And then all of a sudden we're in my car, and it's like, whew, it leaves us. And we're both sitting there going, what did we just do? We're married. Oh my gosh, I married a stranger. And these emotions, these feelings start hitting me like, oh my gosh, my kids. Oh my gosh, my ex-husband, I got to tell him that I just got married. Oh my gosh, my dad, my boss. What am I going to do? And all I heard was, be still and know I'm God. Now, that's a scripture. Can't remember where it's at. Go look it up. Anyway, be still and know I'm God. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, I'm nervous. I'm looking at this guy going, oh, hey, do I have to live with this guy? Oh my gosh, what does this mean? I'm literally panicking inside. But I take him and I just drop him off. I literally take him and drop him back off at his house. Because I'm just like, what? What in the world? I don't even know what to do with this person. But I got to make some phone calls, right? I got to first call my job and tell them why I'm not coming back to work that day, because I had left, at 1 o'clock at a late lunch, and I'm not coming back. I just got married. And they're like, say what? I get home, I call my ex-husband, hey, and I'm thinking, I don't want to bring my kids home yet, because I got to talk to this new husband of mine, right? Please keep the kids, David, I got married. He's like, what? You did what? So I've got all that, right? Everything coming against me. And I'm just like, yeah, Nadine, what did you do? What did you do? But here I have this new husband. Now both of us, it's like, it was so weird. We didn't have any love for each other. We didn't know each other. We had nothing, but yet here we were. Now I'm just going to fast forward about a week and a half into this marriage. My kids now are home, and they're getting used to this strange dude that's, now their stepdad. My boss and all my coworkers, and they'll probably comment in here after seeing this, they thought I was absolutely nuts, okay? Lost my mind. I believe some of them even had bets on how long this would last, annulled in 6 months or whatever. They had this bet going on. But yes, they thought I lost my mind. My dad for certain thought I lost my mind. I don't think he talked to me for a while. Anyway, so here we were, but we had be still and know I'm God. Well, at this point, I had moved him out of his dump hole house, because I wasn't living there, and just moved him in with us. And my kids were established in school, so you're going to have to come move in my place because I can't live in your dump hole. So there we were, strangers in this house. Well, I'm meeting his disabled daughter, who's 7 years old at the time, Shayla. And she's got leukodystrophy, vanishing white brain matter disease, and she's living with her mother, who is still an alcoholic at this time. They had separated for a few years, and he had gotten cleaned up, but she had remained drunk. Shayla was living with her mother. Anyway, we had Shayla for a few days so she can get to know my kids, and hey, this is your new sister, yada yada. They all fell in love with each other. They loved Shayla. Shayla loved them. It was great. After 3 days, Shayla did not want to go back to her mom. She wanted to stay another night. So Dan had asked her mother, hey, can Shayla stay again? She said, sure, but make sure you bring her home in the morning early. It was not that nice, but that's the way it went down. Anyway, so we keep Shayla. Well, that night, her mother ends up driving with a felon in her car and leading the police on a high-speed chase, takes out about 3 or 4 cars in the intersection of Fancher and Sprague, and ends up in jail that night in a crash. It was this big fiery crash. And we've got Shayla. So that morning, I'm like, we got to go get temporary custody of Shayla. We got to go do it right now. This is our opportunity. Because he at this point, he was like, well, you know, he had so much criminal stuff from his past. Remember, he was delivered from demons. And before that, he was 36 years drug addict, alcoholic. He had destroyed his life. It was down here, okay? So there was no judge that was going to give him custody of a child. So here we were, married, be still and know I'm God. And we had this little girl. We ended up spending the entire day at the courthouse. Here's a picture. I'm going to find it and stick it right here. Of us sitting at the courthouse waiting to get temporary custody of Shayla at 7 years old. Now, that was a miracle in itself because we almost didn't get it, but we had a court person override the judge at the last minute to make sure that when her mother was released that following Monday, because this is a Friday, that she would not be able to get Shayla, that we'd have some kind of temporary order. Well, this all worked out in our favor because her mom ended up spending 2 years in prison. We ended up getting custody of Shayla, and I became her second mom. So here we are. We've got my kids. I've got a new disabled daughter, and here it is we're getting ready to go into summertime, and there's no school, which means I can't go to work. I've got to give my notice to my job. And I tell my job that I'm quitting in 2 weeks. I've married a stranger, and now I'm quitting my job. What is wrong with you, Nadine? You've lost your mind. God had other plans. So there we were, living in my little apartment, 900 square foot apartment, my 3 kids, his 1 child, him and I. And for a year and a half, almost 2 years, we lived in this apartment while I helped clean up his credit. God cleaned up his credit. God showed me how to clean up his credit, and it was a miracle after miracle. And that's a whole other testimony in itself. God provided a miracle with Dan's credit. God also restored his driving privileges back. That was a while. That was almost like a year. I drove him for a while, then he got like a breathalyzer, and we had to go through all the hoops, and then a judge actually gave him his driver's license back. Now, mind you, he had lots of DUIs. Probably more DUIs than anybody in the history of Washington. Okay, this guy's story is incredible. My husband's story is incredible. But here we are. Now he's restoring his license. We ended up starting our first business with his brother and our sister-in-law during the recession. I mean, this was just crazy. That was at the end of the year. By 9 months in, we were already starting a business. So we're living in our apartment, starting a business with my in-laws, brother-in-law and sister-in-law. And everybody thinks we're crazy because it's during the recession. We start a car lot. We start this car lot. But you know what? God's in control, and he leads every step of the way. Be still and know I'm God. After about a year into that, I become pregnant. So we have a child together, and I'm pregnant. And just after Tatum was born, we end up getting our first house where we live right now. We've been here for 14 years. And miracle after miracle after miracle. God restored my husband's credit. God redeemed my husband's reputation, his reputation. That was one thing. Everybody knew him as the drunk, drug addict, alcoholic car salesman. Okay. That's how they knew him. So it was very weird for people to see me too. Like, what's wrong with this girl that she's marrying this guy? Does she not know that he was a total loser? There was a lot, right? There must be something wrong with me. And so there was a lot of people against us in the beginning, but God kept saying, be still and know I'm God. So here we were. We had a baby. We had a new house. We had a business. I'm just going to make this shorter. The shorter version is this. We've been blessed and highly favored. Everything has been restored 100-fold. My husband has a great reputation in the community. He is the president of many businesses that are successful. He's since got his pilot's license. We have an airplane. He flies our airplane. Just beautiful things. God makes beauty from ashes. We've raised Shayla. She's a miracle. She was not supposed to live past 10 years old. So during that time that I had her at 7, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, because I had met up with her neurologist and he told me that she doesn't have much time to live. So I was doing Make-A-Wish and we were sending her to pageants. And I was just trying to be the best mom that I possibly could and give her the best that I could for the short amount of time that we'd have her. Well, she just turned 23. She's been living with us ever since, and she's thriving and she's doing great. I mean, as great as she could be with her disease. We're blessed and highly favored. But I said all that and gave that whole testimony to say this. We have to listen to the voice of God. If I wouldn't have listened to God's voice, would I still be the struggling single mom trying to raise my children in the harsh world that it was? It was super hard. I had no family here. Not one family member. All my family was in California. I had no help raising my kids. I had to do it all on my own. It was very hard. I struggled. And God, me listening to God to marry this total stranger opened up so much blessing in my life. I was able to be a mom to my children again. I was able to be home with them and give them that time. I was able to go to all the soccer games and all the volleyball games and all the stuff that I could never have done before when I had to work. And my children, I believe, really benefited so much from that. It was such a blessing to them too. And my husband is a blessing to them. They love him dearly and they appreciate him and they see the blessing that God laid on our lives because of that. But the obedience, if I wasn't in that position that I was in, that I was fully seeking God at that time, because I had decided that I'm just going to put him first. This is it. Me and you, God. Me and you. I was able to hear God's voice. Now, as much as I struggled to be obedient to it, I still was. As hard as it was on the outside, knowing that everybody would think that I was absolutely nuts to do this, I knew that I heard God's voice. I know what I heard. And I acted on that. And I was obedient. And because of my obedience, God blessed us. Dan, too. Dan had to listen to God. That was a hard thing for him. Marry this woman with 3 children? What? But he did it. We both did. Our obedience made something so absolutely beautiful. God made something absolutely beautiful. And there's so many other things to come. We're making a movie. So stay tuned for that. But I just want to encourage you. Get into the word. Get into prayer. You've got to be so tied. You've got to be so tied into this that you know his character and you know his voice, because he'll lead you. He will lead you into paths of righteousness for his name's sake, because that's what the word says. So I want to encourage you to be so fully enveloped. Is that a word? Enveloped? I don't know. Maybe I just made that up. So fully in the word of God that you can hear his voice. And the same type of things will start happening to you. It's just the way it works, people. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Bye. We got to
love her.